Radiohead Man of War. One of the PMC members brought it to my attention and said, this is a perfect representation of the experiences of a low status man. And after watching the video, I had to agree. I'm sorry, I tried playing the video even without sound. They just copyright it. So we're just going to have to still frame it, right? So here's a guy. He's obviously an ordinary man. He's looking at the paper. You'll see he's actually kind of looking at the want ads, right? And what's in the background? Beautiful young woman playing tennis. He's looking for work. She's having a good time, right? Tennis, by the way, is the game of high status people, like golf. It's like the upper middle class play it, right? So there's this separation between him and women, you'll see, right? Like I say, we got to freeze frame this. You can see in the daytime, they do daytime and nighttime shifts. The daytime, they show him looking at the paper. He could be reading about the news, right? At nighttime, all of a sudden, he's all alone. He's still looking at it. The paper's old and used. Also, he looks desperate. That's why I think these are the want ads. I don't think he's just reading the news. These are the want ads. This guy is out of a job. And as you see, as the high status woman gets to play in the background, he is stuck desperately searching for employment. Show this interaction with this woman where she waves at him and smiles, he waves back, and that's it, right? So the closest he can get to the opposite sex is maybe a brief flirtation. But because he's unemployed, he can't get anywhere. He's always alone. He's always alone. And of course, there's another thing you see. Here's a daytime scene where someone drops something and he tries to help them out and he can't catch up with them, right? He's trying to give it back to them, right? It doesn't work, right? All his good efforts come to nothing, right? Anyway, they start getting into the paranoia where at night he's being followed by a man. He's looking back. And you see, I'd like to play this, but it just be copyright. So this guy gets paranoid, like, who's this guy? What's he doing? You'll notice that by the end of it, he's being chased out of town. This gentleman who's walking behind him is he's joined by a woman. And that's pertinent. This isn't just a group of thugs. This is an average looking guy. There's an average woman. They are not dangerous looking, but they are hostile. And they're chasing him now, right? And he's running. Now, this is the important part. He gets to the train tracks, right? He's trying to escape these people. And he falls down, he looks back, and there they are. You know, if you watch the video, which I encourage you to, you'll notice he loses all his fear. It's resignation he feels. These people are running him out of town. He's a single man who's unemployed. And that's why it gets worse with time, right? People are still kind of friendly with him at the beginning, but with enough time, they chase him out of town. That's why he's at the tracks, right? This is him turning his head and saying, well, I got to go. Now, why do I suggest they're chasing him out of town? 1930s, big Great Depression. What were the homeless guys doing? They were on the train tracks all the time, going from one place to the other because they weren't welcomed anywhere, right? Now, we'll get into the gaslighting of this, okay? we'll get into the gaslighting because someone down here who has a huge, here we are, Fairy Blueberry. He has almost 4,000 upvotes. Now he's either gaslighting or he's too ignorant to understand what's going on. He says, this is honestly one of the most well-made music videos I've ever seen. The whole concept symbolizes something in my view, and he's right, right? One of the most obvious points is the drastic difference in tone between day and night. From the beginning, night is established as anxiety-inducing, paranoia, and lonely atmosphere. The man has interactions with people around him, but slowly, like, for example, the woman walking past him, right? But again, I want to point it out that friendly hello doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. It's just a hello. But slowly, these two realities start to merge together. Now, it's not two realities. What it is that society is becoming hostile to him, right? The man starts acting out night actions in the day. See, he's actually blaming the man for society's hostility. He's not acting out night actions. He's acting that way is because people are becoming hostile to him. This is exactly the place where you can't trust any of the realities anymore. Yes, you can, dude. You just have, you're just ignorant about what the video is actually about. Man of War, I believe the music video visualizes PSTD and paranoia. No, it didn't. No, it doesn't. Not from what I can see, guys. Right? Now, the people following him are so intently part of the fake reality he has created. These people within this world, his mind, tried to creep into his life and take control. This is seen initially when we see a shadow following him in the day sequence, blah, blah, blah. Now, Fairy Blue, if this was paranoia, I put to you he wouldn't have ended up on the tracks. He would have ended up at his apartment. If this was a fake reality, he would have become a shut-in. He would have ran to a safe space. He would have found his apartment. But he didn't. He ended up on the railroad tracks. He's leaving town. That's not paranoia. That is rejection. So again, the guys talking about this are either ignorant of the obvious or they're gaslighting. I suspect Fairy Blue is ignorant because misandry to men is like water to fish. If you asked a fish about his environment, he would mention anything other than the fact that he's surrounded by water because it's so pervasive. It's a part of him. He breathes it in. And that's the same thing with misandry for men. Men don't see the misandry. They don't hate this. They don't see the hatred of men. Like these guys following them, they've been validated. They're still employed and they probably have girlfriends. They themselves will be unwanted, like him, if they lose their job and their validation. People do not like men, period. The only reason they get to stay while he's forced out is that these guys are still being useful to society. As soon as you lose your usefulness to society, you're rejected as a man because society doesn't want you anyway. And that's what I have to say about this.